My guest at this time is a current AEW star and the host of IW, or one of the judges, I should say, of IWTV's The Masked Wrestler. It's Kristen Statlander, or Chris Statlander. I wrote it down and I screwed it up here. Chris, thank you very much for taking the time to chat today.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
Well, I got to start my day out checking this first episode of The Masked Wrestler out, man. This is a really interesting concept. Just to kind of start things off here, can you tell the fans out there, what is The Masked Wrestler? What is the concept behind this show?
Um, so it's basically all just like mystery. You don't know who anyone is. You don't know who your opponents are. I don't know. I think part of the charm and the fun of it is that no one really knows what's going on. I mean, like, there's wrestling happening in the ring, but you don't really know who's doing what. And the only thing, the way to tell the difference between the two wrestlers is just the color of the mask, pretty much. And
Yeah.
I think it's just like, so it's a really cool concept because I don't think anything like this has been done in wrestling before. So I think it adds like, I've said this so many times, but I feel like it's like an extra layer for like the super fans to like try and test their knowledge based on like little body movements and everything to see if they can try and figure it out.
Sure.
But I just think it's a lot of fun and it's something people haven't seen before.
So it's like The Masked Singer here, right?
Exactly.
Where everybody's under masks, you can't tell who anybody is, and they're wrestling each other, and you can't really tell outside their move sets who each other are. So you, as the judges, you have no idea who either person in the ring is, correct?
A clue. No.
Okay. And now they talk on the show like these two wrestlers don't know who each other are as well. Is that for real? Or I feel like that would be very hard for these guys and women possibly to put together these wrestling matches.
Yeah. I mean, I sometimes, if you think about it, like with like regular wrestling, like sometimes you're meeting someone for the first time and you have to figure out your chemistry with this other person in the ring.
Sure.
But like you can study their style and everything. But when they're masked, you're talking to each other, it's just like you don't know what to expect because it's all just mystery. And it's I don't know. I mean, I didn't have to do it because my leg is messed up real bad right now.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that with the ACL and everything here in just a moment. But yeah, that's fine. Go ahead. Yeah.
If you're a talented enough wrestler, you should be able to get by just fine. But the thing is that with this, because we did all of the tapings in one day. So so all these poor wrestlers we were in a hot room, no AC, zero ventilation. We had like one fan going and they're in these full body suits. And the two people that are in the finals, they had to wrestle, I think 3 times. So in that one day. Yeah. So I felt terrible for them, but they're already busting their butts trying to figure out who their opponent is and trying to see if there's going to be any little tricks or anything, or even trying to catch a person's specific style at the stage. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. You okay? You all right?
Yeah, I had a sneeze. I just had a sneeze.
Okay, wonderful. Just making sure. It's okay. Take a moment if you need to.
I'm good. It just crept on me there. I
don't know what kind of space ooze comes out of your nose when you sneeze. So, anyway.
Lame.
When you were doing the judging, was it harder or easier for you to guess who these people were under the mask than you anticipated?
I honestly had no clue.
Yeah.
And I am not the best at keeping up with what's going on sometimes. So even when people reveal themselves, it like took me a second to be like, wait, who is this person? I do know this person. And like I feel bad because like I haven't been in wrestling that long, and like I feel like I should know everybody, but at the same time, yeah, I've wrestled all over, but I haven't met everybody, and sometimes I just don't watch what's going on sometimes. So I'm just like, I was like in the dark, and I feel like I know there's a lot of fans that are a lot more like intelligent and just like write down and like study everything in wrestling. So I feel like some people might be able to figure out who's who, but there were certain matches where like people were just really trying to throw you off, and like they're doing like John Cena's comeback and like the rock stuff. So it's like they're really just trying to mess with you and really just screw you up. So it's really fun though. It was a really, really fun time just to see how creative these people could get with this concept too.
Yeah, for sure. And so how does AEW feel about you accepting these outside gigs and working with IWTV and produce and being part of a production like this?
As long as it was safe, they were okay with it. We filmed it at the end of August, so it wasn't like amidst like the very beginning of everything happening.
Sure.
But I made sure I told the people that I needed to, that I was asked to be this panelist. They asked me what safety precautions were with everyone that were going to be involved in how many people could be in the building, and when filming it, it was very safe. People had masks on, not just the wrestlers,
I
but
was
like
about to say that's the whole gimmick, right? Like,
people weren't filming. Everyone was pretty safely distanced out. Like it had the building had a bunch of windows, so there was like ventilation, but it was just a very hot day, so it would just yeah. But
okay.
they had their safety precautions and were doing temperature checks and everything.
Sure. Well, I'll ask you the elephant in the room. You brought it up earlier. A lot of fans were very upset earlier this year, just a couple months ago, to watch you go down with the injury. How are you feeling? How is recovery going?
I'm doing pretty good. I think from what I've heard overall is that I might be a little bit ahead of others where I'm at right now, but I still have like a real long way to go before I can re-debut, basically.
Yeah.
And get back in the ring before I'm debuting, obviously, and I'm gonna want to be training a little bit before, so I'll be able to get in the ring before you'll see me back on TV. Basically,
What do you think? Do you have a timeline of when that could be, or no?
it could be another 8 months or so.
Wow.
Yeah.
How is this dealing with this right now? I mean, everybody's dealing with the whole pandemic thing, but you were working and you had a TV exposure with AEW and everything. And this injury comes along. Like, how's that been affecting you?
It's been it's been more mentally challenging than physically challenging at times, because physically I have the ability to keep pushing myself and to just keep doing everything I need to, and I'll go harder than I probably should be to try and do my rehab and stuff like that. But mentally, it's like you're sitting at home all day and you're alone all day because you can't go out and go do anything. You can only work out so long in a day when you're injured, and you just see all your friends and everyone doing it awesomely on TV, and you're just like, man, I just want to be a part of that so bad, and I just feel like I'm useless to this division. So there was a good like 2-3 straight months where I cried every single night because I felt like I had just been like failing everybody. And yeah. And like I don't even know what happened when I got injured. Like I just did a suicide dive, and the way I landed, I guess, was not perfectly right. It's like it was actually, you can actually see the dive on TV when I heard it. But all you see is me quickly grab my leg when I go down, and then the camera's off of me. But it doesn't even look like I did anything super insane, or like it doesn't look like a very noticeable like, oh, she messed up her leg there. Like it, you cannot tell at all. So I have no idea what happened. I just kind of felt like a little like in my leg, and then like it didn't even hurt that bad either. I was just like, ugh, oh boy.
Man, that sucks so much, Chris. I mean, that's the thing. And, taking a step back here, when you came into AEW, were you surprised by how much the fans really rallied around you? I feel like a lot of fans took you really, really quickly and were quick to embrace you and welcome you to AEW.
Yes. And it's always a surprise to me when people appreciate what I can do and what I'm able to do so quickly. And it's something I experienced a lot on the independents, being able to debut in so many new places and everything, and do different styles of matches all the time. And I feel like that year, there were some weekends I was doing 6 shows, or like wrestling 6 days a week, and it was insane. And I don't know, it still just takes me back when like people are just so amazed and like just love me right away, because I don't feel like I'm doing anything special. Sometimes I feel like it's just kind of like me going out there just being myself and like just trying my hardest. So it's always so weird to me when people are just like over the moon about what I can like about me as a wrestler. And then there's also the fans that are just like, oh, the alien thing is stupid, man. But like, it's the only thing. When I started doing the alien thing, it's the first thing that made me feel like I was really me in the ring, and it made me feel so much more comfortable. So like, you know what? If the alien changes, it does. If it doesn't, sorry.
Yeah.
Uh, it's been it helped me get to where I am today. So I have no I feel like it has not done me any disservices doing this alien stuff.
Yeah, and where did the alien thing? Because you say this is like you, which is great, but like you as being your most happy self is as a space alien, it would seem. Where does this come from? Do you have a passion for the paranormal and the UFOs and things like that?
I wouldn't say like paranormal and UFOs. I just am such a big fan of just space, and it's just such like a mind-blowing concept about like it just is forever, and like no one knows where it came from, no one knows where it starts or ends, and there's just so much mystery behind it, and it just fascinates me. And I've always loved just general science as well growing up, and I got this space tattoo, so
Oh,
I'm committed.
nice. Is there a particular like UFO story or something that like has you intrigued? I guess I'm geeking out a little bit because I'm like a huge nerd when it comes to like this stuff, and I didn't know if there's like one thing that you think of when you think of the UFOs and aliens and things like that.
um not really. I know it's just something that I've always really loved to like just sit and think about. Like I love looking at the stars and like trying to see where constellations are. When I was in grade school, my high school had a planetarium in it.
Yeah.
So elementary school, sometimes we would take like field trips to the high school to go to the planetarium, and I just remember that being like my favorite thing ever for some reason. And I don't know, it's just like if you really want to make your brain hurt, just think about space and try and figure it out. That's like crazy. I feel like sometimes that's how I am. Like if you try to figure out like what I'm all about, you're just like I don't know, because I don't even know sometimes. It's just so random and odd, and like I don't know. People say I'm one of the most awkward people they've ever met, and like I'm very friendly, but like I get it. I just do like weird things all the time, and you can ask anybody that's been in the locker room with me. Um, I don't know.
Is there like
It's
a weird thing? Are you like eating like carrot and ketchup or something like that? What is
not
weird?
not like that. It's just like the way I act for some reason. It's just so strange, and I'll just like do weird things. Like I got this like obsession with just like curling my lip like this, and I'll just do that all the time for no reason.
Hmm.
And it's so fun. Like when people will like give you a compliment, and you like kind of don't want to accept it. You're just like, thanks.
It's very Jim Carrey. It reminds me of
Yeah,
Fire Marshal Bill.
it's just like that just weird charm where you're just like, I don't know what's going on with this person, but like it's cool with me. Like I feel like that's the embodiment of what I am sometimes. And I feel like, when you meet someone like that, you're just like, are you sure you're from here? Are you sure you're not like from somewhere else, like space? Like I feel like that's kind of like how people will try and like make sense of it in their heads. Like you got to be like either on drugs or like from somewhere else to be acting like this. And
Okay, fair enough.
drugs scare me. So
All right, fair
the
enough.
other,
Well, one other thing I wanted to ask you about. Obviously, you've had a chance at the AEW Women's Championship. Going back to you taking on Rio there, many months. If time is a flat circle at this point, I don't know how long ago. 8 years, 8 months. What was it like for you to get to step in the ring and have such a large opportunity? How did that hit you?
um, I feel like all these concepts don't hit me until after it's over,
Mm-hmm.
if that makes sense. Because I'm just so focused on going out there and performing my best and trying to win and doing everything I can to get there. That like it always takes me so long after the fact to realize what I've accomplished. And I feel like for someone that's been wrestling for about, I think, 4 years, um, like I've really done quite a lot. And I still sometimes refuse to acknowledge that because I'm just like, I don't know anything. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just trying to be out here having fun. And it's just like, I don't know. Like I was the first woman to win the independent wrestling TV title. I had the first ever women's main event at my home promotion. Um, I don't know. I had a debut in Ring of Honor pretty early on. Someone made like a comment one time that I was the first person to wrestle for both a WWE title and an AEW title because I did a squash match on SmackDown in the same
Yep, with the Iconics, I believe, right?
year, called the Brooklyn Bells. And little funny story about that. They originally wanted us to be called the Brooklyn Pizza Connection, and our name is Cheesy and Saucy. So
I mean, it's kind of on par with T-Bar, Mace, and Slapjack, you know.
yeah, we would have been the first Retribution, but I'll bring it to AEW, I guess, whenever I can come back.
Oh, sure. Yeah, that's what fans are clamoring for, you to bring Retribution to AEW. I was going to ask you, though, because I saw that. Would you like to see women's tag titles in AEW? Is that something that intrigues you or no?
Yeah, I personally am such a big fan of tag team wrestling. Partly because one of my trainers, Brian Myers, aka or FKA Kurt Hawkins, was such a like tag team specialist when he was in WWE. Had won the titles twice and stuff like that, and he's such like hone it in with like this is how you do tag team wrestling, and just like getting to watch him do that has always been like it's just like a masterpiece to me. So I love it, and I take pride in trying to put together tag matches, even though they're nowhere near as good as his. But I think it would be really cool to have tag titles for the women. I do feel like we probably need a little bit of a bigger women's division because it's like anyone that's not going for the tag titles would have to do the singles matches because it is growing and there are more people here, but I feel like there's so many right now. It would just be so many just random thrown together tag teams. I feel like we need to build up relationships more to really see why we're tag teams as opposed to like Diamante and Ivelisse. There's an obvious connection there with them too. But like I feel like we definitely, if we wanted to have the tag titles and have them mean something, I feel like we need to see true tag teams being formed and not just like, oh, you know what? These two look cool together. We'll make them a team. But I feel like it's definitely something that we can accomplish in the foreseeable future.
Do you have a preference on who you'd like to tag with? Do you have an ideal tag team partner in mind for AEW or no?
I don't really know because I've tagged with Shida like 5 or 6 times already. So I feel like that would already be like, hey, you two are perfect together. But at the same time, like there's so many other women on the roster that I would love to get a chance to like find that chemistry with. I know my first match with AEW, it was on Dark, was me teaming with Swole.
Yeah.
And I to team with Swole again because we are just two giant goofballs and just yeah. It's just like I feel like I could probably find a good connection with anybody that I would tag with because I have such like a random style myself that like it could fit in. I'll find a way to make it fit with anybody that I'm put to team with because that's just how I'm gonna go about it. But yeah, besides Swole and Shida, I don't really know specifically who else would be a good partner for me at the moment. And I haven't even been there in a while and I haven't wrestled in a while. So who knows what I'll be like when I get back.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Hey, Chris, I want to thank you so much for taking the time. Give you a chance here as we wrap up the interview. Let the fans know about the Masked Wrestler. Where can they go find it, support it, all of those great things?
Okay. So I just read up on this to make sure I say this. I know you can find it on IWTV, independentwrestlingtv.com. I think they have it streaming on the Facebook of IWTV. I think you can find it on Effie's Twitch. And I don't know where else. But I know those things. Definitely IWTV. If you know for sure, I think it's on the face. I think they stream it for free on the Facebook page. And if you go on to IWTV.com, I think it's like a free video that you can watch. I don't think it's one of the things that you have to subscribe for, but you should subscribe for IWTV anyway, because there's a whole bunch of cool matches on there. And you see a bunch of my matches too, my hardcore stuff. So like, why wouldn't you just subscribe?